You'll notice that this room looks much bigger than this room already. Good morning. It's a little wet outside. It's pretty typical for Vancouver this time of year. First off, I just want to say I'm not a professional photographer, so what you're about to see is by no means a testament to how good a photographer I think I am. Second, a friend of mine gave me a call yesterday, needs some help with some pictures on a brand new listing, had a scheduling conflict with his new photographer. So I thought I'd just go help him out. And I thought it would be a good idea for a video because oftentimes as a real estate agent, people come into my listings and they say, oh, your pictures actually look like the listing, like the place looks like the photos I saw online. Sometimes that's not actually the case. And I'm gonna show you why in the editing process. But first, let's go take the pictures. Okay, so I didn't get any actually behind the scenes footage, maybe one or two things. So I just got in front of the computer. First thing I gotta do, gotta get the memory cards out of the camera and load them onto the computer. So here we go. And it says it's gonna be about 12 minutes to copy files. So let's just fast forward. Now what you will notice is that each picture has 3 pictures of the same image, and that is because every time I set up a shot, I do 3 different exposures and then end up layering them on top of each other. And I'll show you why. The primary one is generally to expose for different portions of the picture. For example, the sky is a different exposure level than the ground, or a window would be a different exposure level than the rest of a room if you're doing an interior shot. So you'll notice that the window here is totally blown out. It's white. You can't see anything outside in this shot. But then if I go to a lower one, you can see outside. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use the exposure from the window on this one and then blend sort of the mid-tones and the highlights and try to make one picture. And that's already looking quite a bit better. There's still things I need to do with this picture, but that's a really good place for me to start. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm basically gonna set the alignment. And the next thing I'd wanna do, I just wanna put the table a little bit more in the center of the room so that it just looks like a bit of a better composition. And so I'm gonna start up here with the cropping. I'm gonna see what that looks like. I think that's already looking a fair bit better. That's straight out of camera. That's the edited picture. So I take all my pictures with a simple wide angle lens just to get an overall view of the room that it's shooting. A standard lens is just not gonna get the field of view that's needed, but that gives you a pretty good representation of what the room sizing is. Now, some agents, and I say agents because I'm not taking my own photos 99% of the time anymore. Agents are hiring a photographer, but some photographers will use what's called a fisheye lens, and that adds a fair bit of distortion to the room. It makes it look longer and wider. I'm just gonna quickly show you what that could look like just by manipulating this photo, which was done on a wide angle lens, just to show you what it could look like coming straight out of camera from a fisheye lens. You'll notice that this room looks much bigger than this room already. I'm looking at this and coming in as a buyer and thinking, oh, well, maybe I can move my table in here the other direction and get 6 chairs around it. I'm gonna be pretty disappointed showing up, and this is the room I come into, not this. I don't really like that type of photography. I find it a little bit deceiving, and buyers are always disappointed when they come into a room that doesn't look like the pictures. So that's one shot. I'm gonna show you a couple others. So again, this is an example of a distorted picture. Which room looks bigger to you? This one or this one? This is the actual picture, and this is the distorted version. So if you're not looking closely, this chair does look a little weird if you happen to know that style of chair from IKEA, but the couch just looks bigger than a normal couch for the room, and the room looks super wide with a really big window. But this is what it actually looks like in person. Okay, so this is an outside example. So if you were buying a place, what are you gonna look for? You're gonna look for a yard space, and the bigger the yard, the better, generally speaking. You showed up and you saw this picture online versus this picture online. which one would you think was more accurate in terms of the representation of the house? This one has been distorted to make the property look longer and deeper. You'll notice that the play box here looks a little bit smaller than it does in this one, and that's because this is the actual size based on how big the actual yard is. So I could play around with other things, but for now, this is a pretty good representation of just how different real estate photography can make a property look. So if you're looking for property, just keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm gonna try to knock these edits out, and you can watch while I do that. That's it for me for the day. I hope you enjoyed the video, or at the very least learned something. If you did, let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Other than that, thanks for watching and have yourself a great day.